Hello, everybody. My name is Dan Selcke, and I am the editor of WintersComing.net, here with my associate and co-editor, Daniel Roman, also of WintersComing.net. Together, we are two Dans, both at WintersComing.net, and we are here to tell you the latest news in the fields of sci-fi, fantasy, and movies, TV, and such things as this. Welcome to the show, and welcome, Daniel. How are you feeling on this fine Wednesday afternoon?
I'm feeling pretty good on this fine whatever afternoon it is. It's a Wednesday. It feels like a Monday, but it's a good one. How are you? Are you ready to rank some stuff?
I love ranking things. I say it because Wednesday is spelled Wednesday, but it's spelled Wednesday, probably because etymologically it's rooted in weddings, but it's pronounced Wednesday. It makes no sense, and I'm just going to call attention to that right now with my little platform here. Anyway, as usual, we have
the important issues.
I think it's weird. I don't like it. I just wish things were said the way they were spelled. Anyway, of course, we have a nice show for you today, a little more relaxed. I mean, only because the last couple of weeks have been so jam-packed full of incident and stuff.
They have.
But of course, before we get anything else, House of the Dragon coming up, like a lightning bolt riding a horse out of hell, and we're always having new stuff. Let's begin with the latest on the upcoming Game of Thrones show. By the way, hello, Julie. Hello, Christian. Hello, everyone out there in internet land. If you ever have a comment or a query or a thing to say to us or to each other, feel free to leave it in the comments, and we will talk about it amongst ourselves. But Daniel, what's the latest with the Game of Thrones prequel show, House of the Dragon? Fill us in. Give us the skinny.
Okay, the scoop. So House of the Dragon, we're now less than a month out. Woo! And HBO is releasing tons of stuff. Yeah. This past week, they released, or maybe it was the end of last week, they released a behind-the-scenes trailer that was returning to Westeros, all about recreating this world in a different time period and kind of what their goals and hopes and dreams for this series are. But that stuff's all cool. But the most exciting thing to me that came out of that behind the scenes is that we got our first look at two new dragons, which is exciting because why are we watching this if not for the dragons?
The dragons right in the damn name. Yeah, you better give us them.
It is. And we know, 17 dragons potentially in this show, at least. And now, but they haven't shown us too many. They've shown us just a few. Now they're starting to show us more. So do we want to maybe look at some dragons? What do you think?
Yes.
Okay. So this first one we're going to check out. We're pretty sure this is Vermithor, which is King Jaehaerys's mount, his dragon. This scene, we saw it a few times in the trailer or in the behind the scenes teaser, and it seems like it's King Jaehaerys's funeral. All the Targaryens are there. They're all dressed in black, which would likely make the person on Vermithor here, maybe Viserys, just going on to light his father's or his grandfather's pyre. Viserys never rode a dragon again after his own died, but maybe he has to make an exception as the new king to light the pyre.
I will say some folks have disputed you. I know online people have said that what makes you think that that's Viserys's or Jaehaerys's funeral and that that's Viserys? It could be like Laena Valerian's funeral, right? That looks at the back of Rhaenyra's head.
It is the back of Rhaenyra's head, and she's a kid here. So Laena Valerian's funeral, we've seen that a few times in other trailers, and it is on Driftmark, and this does not look like Driftmark to me. The reason that I think this is Vermithor and this is King Jaehaerys's funeral is because of Rhaenyra's age, first off. So we know this is something that happens earlier in the show, and we get a good look at this dragon's head and a model of this dragon's head, because my first thought was, is that Caraxes? It's a little reddish. But the head design is different. He's kind of got long, like scaly streamers coming off the top of his head that you can really see in the model. So Vermithor was like a bronze dragon. This dragon looks kind of bronzish to me. So that is my best guess. Not saying it couldn't be another dragon. Could be Vagar, I guess. Lena's mount.
I said Vagar.
But Vagar, that sounds better.
We're gonna learn a lot when we watch the show about how to pronounce these.
Yes,
I do love dragon names. Although over on YouTube, Brandon thinks it's Emma Aaron's funeral, and there's no rider on that dragon at all, which I can kind of see. I mean, that's like young woman.
Could just be a, yeah.
Get really close here.
It is.
What a fruitful time.
He could be right about no rider on the dragon. That could just be the saddle that we're seeing.
Or a spike.
Yeah. So if it's Emma Aaron's funeral, which is possible, then it would be a question of whose dragon is that? What dragon is that?
A big one.
A big one. Yeah. And again, that's another thing that makes me think maybe Vermithor, because he's a big one, but I don't know why he would be at Emma Aaron's funeral. So we'll know for sure as we see more of this scene. But that was my best guess.
What we've learned here is that there is much we don't know. It's like House of the Dragon is a lot like the physical universe, in which the more you find out, the more you discover that you don't know much about what is going on. We will soon enough.
Correct.
What about the next image?
I think the next one we can say with a little more certainty which dragon this is. So keep in mind, this is not that's what I think. I'm going to say it and then everyone's going to tell me I'm wrong. Keep in mind, this is not a finished image. This is like on a monitor. You kind of see it in the behind the scenes. You're seeing cool. Lena Valerian on the dragon mount thing that they film with, and then it pans to the monitor and you see what the scene is going to look like. So this is not finished graphics, but it's Lena Valerian riding her dragon. She rode Vagar.
I say it Vagar. How do you guys say it? Vagar, or other?
Yeah, let us know. So Vagar, I'm going to go with that now because that sounds nice.
I'm going to trend set.
That's Lena Valerian's dragon that she rides. However, this red dragon behind her, there aren't a lot of dragons that are this brilliant shade of red, assuming that the unfinished graphic is in the ballpark of what we'll end up seeing. That would most likely make this Meleys or Meleys. Again, pronunciations, we're going to have to figure all that out.
I've always said Meleys.
Meleys. Ooh, that sounds nice. That sounds nicer. So let's go with that. Meleys. Rhaenys Targaryen or Valerion's dragon. So presumably this is not an actual chase. They're flying, going somewhere together or training or something like that. Blood is not being joyriding, but that dragon had a nickname, the Red Queen. So seems like a pretty safe guess that that's the dragon we're looking at here.
Remember that kind of sort of successful, kind of awkward scene in season 8 when Daenerys and Jon Snow got on the dragons in the north, just kind of did a little Disney joyride through the north and did kind of loopity-loops through the icebergs and stuff. And I was watching it and being like, this turned into a really happy Back to the Future scene really fast. It was kind of a weird scene for Game of Thrones, but I get that from this scene. I get that they're having a mother-daughter spin about town, picking up bread, cruising some dudes.
Yeah. Jay says he thinks this is Caraxes. What I will say to that is the only way that it's possible, really hinging on how unfinished this graphic is, because this dragon does not look like the Caraxes the finished Caraxes graphic that we see. The wings, the tail,
spike beard.
Yeah, it looks very different. You see this dragon flying, the tail has a really, really unique design. But again, it's an unfinished graphic.
That is
So
a
that
cool
could be the
unfinished,
case, too.
Weird tale. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there are so many dragons in this, and they're, again, I said this before, and I mean it. The designers who got to make these dragons, what a freaking great job! What a gift for a graphic designer to go say, make 17
Yes.
dragons, make them all different, make them all distinguishable, because we want to be able to sell different action figures of each and every one. They're gonna have different tails, different wings, different colors, different little distinctions between their faces. So, God, I mean, I don't do graphics at all, but I'm kind of jealous that I've got to do that job. It sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, those are the new House of the Dragon images, and obviously we've got some debate going on about which dragons we're actually seeing, but I think it's safe enough to say that at least one of these dragons is new, and possibly both of them are new.
Some family out there
who has idea when the show drops,
who has like 2 parents and 12 kids. You could go as all 14 dragons for Halloween and just like make your own costumes for all of them. That would be a blast. Oh, and they could learn all the names.
Yeah.
No, wait. What? 14, 15 kids. You need a big family, but it's worth it to have that kind of themed Halloween party.
Yeah,
they're sneaking quite a bit of kind of other stuff into little trailers. Like they had the trailer for the Dracarys app, which is Drac ARS with like the augmented reality. So smart of them. Like they had a shot of young Aemon Targaryen like confronting Vagar in there, saying like Valyrian like halt or whatever, like sit and stay, but in Valyrian. That's a big shot. They just hid away in the stupid AR hatch your own dragon app. So they're sticking stuff in. They are going pretty whole hog with like an app. Apparently, they managed to get House of the Dragon on all the hotel key cards for San Diego Comic-Con. Like no matter what you were there for, your hotel key had House of the Dragon on it. They're really going for it. So I'm happy to see that the marketing machine is really up and running. And I cannot wait to see that 17-member strong family wear all those dragon costumes for Halloween 2023. Baby, let's go.
Yeah, that's kind of funny that they got the key cards, because I'm pretty sure the Rings of Power got the name tags. So
that is funny.
The war goes on. I noticed George R. R. Martin had a name tag and it had the Rings of Power sword on it. So they're getting the little bits of merchandising they can. They are sneaking. So if you are wanting to see new House of the Dragon stuff, keep an eye out for all of these little ads and featurettes and things like that they're doing, because the one with these dragons that we just showed too, there's like the best look we've gotten yet of Rhaenyra's children in that too. There's a good close-up shot of them with like bloody faces kind of clinging to her right after they have their fateful showdown with Aemon, presumably.
The Strong Boys, yeah.
So yeah, definitely keep an eye out. But shall we continue on? What do you think?
We shall. A good comment from Julie, because this is true. Pronunciation is always a bit contentious. Even now, some people say Cersei, but George R. R. Martin always says Cersei. There's a great meme I always liked where it was just Cersei. I say Cersei, like little like kind of images and then words next when she's saying people always ask me, do you say it Cersei or Cersei? And I always tell them the same thing. How dare you speak to me? Which I always thought was funny because it's very Cersei. That's pretty good, awesome. Right? It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, speaking of San Diego Comic-Con, it happened over this weekend. The world's premiere event for just useless announcements about new TV and movies coming up that I hold very dear, because there's nothing I like more than useless knowledge. I just love it to death. And this was the first physical one they had in I believe 3 years, because for the past 2 years it was like Comic-Con online, which everyone knows is just French for we're basically skipping it this year and half-assing a little Zoom call. So it was cool to be back in, I mean, we weren't there, but we had colleagues at San Con, or SDCC, as the kids call it. And they went to some of the events. We had someone live tweeting from the House of the Dragon panel. Everyone was there. It was fun. And the entertainment industry blitzed us with a avalanche of trailers, teaser trailers, normal trailers, and announcements of things to come. And we thought it would be a good opportunity to revive a game we played a while ago, where we kind of forecast the coming fall and the coming summer of television, and ranked all the shows that were coming up, all 12 shows, 12 shows we chose, in order of hype, which basically means whatever we want. And because they showed off so much stuff, it's extremely scientific. And if you don't understand the criteria, you just aren't smart enough like us. And we thought, because there were so many trailers coming out at SDCC, we did the same thing here. We would kind of go over some of the big announcements and rank them in order. And there are 12, right, Daniel? There are
12. We're keeping it to 12. Yeah, even though there were more things announced than that, we kind of went for the 12 that we were the most hyped for. So sorry, no Vampire Academy in this ranking.
Oh, right. Yeah, and just go through them and see, what are we excited about, and to what degree are we excited, to such that what else does it beat out, and what does it lose to? So the things that we're going to be talking through and ranking for your pleasure, and we are going to be correct, by the way, in everything, but please feel free to let us know what you think about it, are the trailer for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. We got the trailer for The Sandman, which comes out on Netflix, I believe just next week. We got the trailer for She-Hulk, the next Marvel show coming right around the bend. We, of course, have the trailer for The Rings of Power, where Sauron has taken up meth. We got the trailer for Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, where Chris Pratt is our kind of dungeon master du jour. We have the trailer for John Wick 4.
Chris Pine.
Sorry. Like, I can be expected to keep track of all of them. Why doesn't like 2 or 3 of them change their names? That would be the gentlemanly thing to do. We got the trailer for John Wick Chapter 4, which I actually have never seen a John Wick film. I really would like to, because everyone seems to love them, but I got to get around to them.
They're entertaining. We're going to talk about them when the time comes.
That'll be for you, mostly. We got the trailer for the final ever episodes for The Walking Dead. I mean, it's going to end, people. It's over. Like this October, I believe, Halloween. We got the trailer for Jacob Anderson in Interview with the Vampire, a intergenerational gay love story about grief and blood sucking and sexual confusion. We have the trailer for Star Trek Picard Season 3. Good Lord, this doesn't stop. Trailer for the new Shazam thing. The trailer for Black Adam, the one where The Rock gets superhero outfit on. Finally, it's a miracle it took that long. And finally, the last one, Jason Momoa comes back in Season 3, the post-apocalyptic show that I don't know one person who has ever watched. And we're going to say what deserves to be in the first place, what deserves to be in the last place, what deserves to be in between. Daniel, are you ready?
Yes. I was born ready. My whole life has led to this moment. I'm down the rank by hype. Are you ready? And you out there watching, are you ready?
If you're ready out there, comment nothing. Okay, they're ready. Let's go.
Sweet.
So I'm going to say it.
Okay.
And thank you for Richard putting this together, by the way. I said not to mention you, but it looks really, really good. The little grid. So I'm going to come out the gate really quickly and say, you know that I am not a Marvel person. Something in my soul sort of resists it. And I think they're trying to compress all of entertainment into one tiny cube that we eat whenever they dole it out. That was like 3 metaphors in one. But I watched that trailer for, and by the way, we're not counting the House of the Dragon trailer in this, because it would obviously be first and be too easy. And we already talked about it. Yeah. I want Black Panther Wakanda Forever to be in the first spot, because I watched it and I'm not sure if it was the music or kind of the rhythm of the editing, because I like the first Black Panther. I didn't walk away with my life changed, but there was a lot of powerful emotion radiating off that trailer. And of course, it does come in with like Chadwick Boseman being dead and now them having to carry on. There was like a melancholy tone, at least from the trailer, that probably won't be there in the actual movie. But the trailer, I thought, kicked ass. And honestly, what I thought was kind of moving. I love the bright colors.
Totally.
I just loved the elegance of it put together. That was an elegant trailer. Will the movie be good? Yeah. I don't know. But based on that, you know what? As I'm saying it, I'm getting this sinking feeling, because I have to remind myself, like, Dan, the trailer looks so cool, but Marvel did it. So it's going to be like fine at best. But at least now, based on that movie looks great.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think Black Panther Wakanda Forever has to be in the number 1 slot in these rankings.
Nice, easy.
There's just something special about this one. Ryan Coogler, I like Marvel. I'm starting to get a little burnt out. I didn't like Thor Love and Thunder.
Sorry.
But I do think that Wakanda Forever could be something special. It's the same director who did Black Panther. It had a really challenging production cycle. Like you said, Chadwick Boseman passed away. They basically rewrote a lot of the movie. Yeah, they had to. And I think the emotion of what they were doing really came through in the trailer.
Yeah,
and I think
felt that.
If the film even comes close to the same level of emotion, it's going to be something special, which is, I have not felt that way about a lot of the recent Marvel releases. So yeah, I got hyped, and Marvel is clearly confident enough in it that they announced a new lineup change for phases 4, 5, and 6. Mm-hmm. So now phase 4 ends with Wakanda Forever. Yeah. So that speaks for itself, I think, like in terms of their confidence in it, that they're ending phase 4 with this movie. I think it's going to be probably the Marvel thing to see of this, even though we've now seen a whole bunch of them.
And they announced like new Avengers movies for 2025 or 4, I think it was. Like
2020.
There was actual hype around Marvel again, which has kind of been flagging recently. I'm happy to see it flagging, but they seem to bring some of it back here. So good for them.
Yeah.
I love an underdog story. Maybe they can have a comeback arc.
Is that what this is? That's fair.
Well,
yeah. Marvel. So the phase 4, 5, 6 announcement almost kind of felt like a little bit of damage control to me, because before, a lot of the things in phase 5 were phase 4. So they basically said phase 4 is over with our next movie. And then phase 5 is all these things. And then they announced new Avengers. So Avengers, the Kang Dynasty is coming in 2025, I believe early 2025. And then Avengers Secret Wars is coming in late 2025. So we'll get 2 Avengers movies that year. And it will be fun.
Will I be interested by
Spider-Man
then?
will get a black suit.
Sure, get a black suit Spider-Man. Will I be interested by then? I have no idea, but it did this. They were successful in getting people talking. They were successful in getting some hype around their projects.
Yes.
And I feel like they needed that, because it's kind of been a little bit ebbing recently. So good for you, Marvel.
Yeah.
You did your thing, and the Black Panther thing did look pretty good. So I'm on board for at least that.
Cool.
Daniel, I think last time we did this, and I think we should do it again, we did the first spot, and then we talked about the last spot. Do you have any opinions what should go in the number 12 spot? And do you have any opinions out there what should go in the number 12 spot, by the way? Anybody watching?
I mean, I'll just say, okay, so we're ranking the projects, because I think the Picard teaser was pretty lame.
I guess, yeah. It was just like
so
people from Star Trek: Next Generation who were actors, like who were at their peak back in the early 90s, saying, I'll be here. I can agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think so if we're going by the project itself, I think for me it's either going to be Shazam or Dungeons and Dragons is the one I'm least excited about.
I'll give Dungeons and Dragons. Can we agree? But if it's the project and the trailer, kind of like a combination of both. The Picard 3 trailer was pretty lame, and I'm not terribly excited for Star Trek Picard, so perhaps that can go 12.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I can get behind that. I'm not watching it, so that says something. And the trailer did not get me excited enough to change that.
I watched the first season. I liked it well enough. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I never watched Star Trek growing up. I was never really a fan. And now there's like 18 shows on at once. And you're not really giving me much room to do this.
Yeah,
it was fine. And the second season apparently like reviewed kind of whatever. So I have no emotional attachment to like the Next Generation people. I don't care about, oh, Data's back, or I don't even know the names. Crusher, Mrs. Crusher, or whatever that name is.
Beverly.
So sure.
Yeah.
So whatever, it's fine. I support hiring 85-year-old actors to be the leads in shows, but beyond that, you can take or leave that one. Next to
I'm there with you.
I support in the 11 slot Shazam or C. Shazam just because I don't know. It's just superheroes. We all know there's so many of them. And to break through, I mean, Black Panther managed to break through. Good for it.
It did.
But it's almost like if you don't really bring it as a superhero film, like, how dare you even exist? Like, there are so many out there.
It's very saturated.
How could you?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like giving us something that's not really, really boundary pushing, like Black Panther appears to be. And Shazam,
that's kind of funny because
fine.
That's the point of the trailer, is him saying, "What am I even doing with all these other superheroes already out there?" Is like literally how the trailer starts.
Well, great. I'm glad you have some meta commentary in there, but.
Yeah, I think Shazam can go at the bottom. And I would put it below C because after watching the trailer for C, I wanted to watch the show, which is not something I expected to say. The trailer was pretty good, honestly.
All right, cool. Well, at least we can put Shazam at 11. Yeah, I didn't mind it.
You want to put C at 10?
Is there anything that could go below it? I have some affection for I think Black Adam looked pretty bad, but it looked bad in the way that I kind of liked it. Like it was this sort of like mid 2000s, everything is gray and drab green and kind of a grim and dark and moody and just like very kind of 14-year-old writing in his notebook during chem collab, just like angry circles, not paying attention because he's too cool, and he has like kind of frosted thing, and his hair is black, and he goes in his room, and he shuts them in there, and he like kind of pines online in his live journal. That's what I got from the Black Adam trailer. That's what it was giving me.
Okay.
And I kind of dug it. Like it was kind of really overwrought in a painfully earnest emo kid sort of way.
Yeah.
So I think it should be. I don't know if that means it should be higher or lower. I honestly don't. I just said all that and I don't know where it should go, but that's my thought on it.
Well, I think, okay. So the only other things that I think maybe belong lower than something like Black Adam or that are in the running. So Dungeons and Dragons, I think that looks so ridiculous. Like Michelle Rodriguez is one of those actors where she can take awful writing and make it awesome and fun to watch. So that one, I'm counting on it being entertaining. I'm not hyped for it, but I'm more hyped than I am for Black Adam. So it's kind of, for me at least, I think Black Adam and C are kind of are my bottom two right now out of what's left.
And not D&D?
D&D's that's the third one. Those are the three. John Wick, I think, will be better than those three things pretty easily.
So, okay, I could agree with those next three being in some order. But what order? do you think?
Okay, so if it,
I'm going to
if
defer
it
to
were
you in
me,
this. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm
okay,
curious. If it were you, what would it be?
it would probably be. I guess Black Adam, maybe C. It would be
Okay,
C,
okay,
Black
get behind
Adam,
that.
Dungeons and Dragons as 8.
So that's C in 10, and then Black Adam in 9, Dungeons and Dragons in 8, or the reverse?
That Nope, that's what I think.
Okay.
How do you
Okay.
feel?
Yeah,
Would
I
you
agree with
change
that.
it?
It's just like C does look kind of cool, but like they've spent so much money, I assume, on that show. I mean, they have like a big, like just Momoa, they have these big sets, they have Dave Bautista, they have this
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic world, and like I think maybe 4 people have watched that show. Like I just never heard of anybody getting into it. Apple TV Plus, like, and Apple TV Plus is getting some hits. Like they have had Ted Lasso,
Yeah.
they've had For All Mankind, they've had that Schmigadoon show. They have like Physical, but they're having some success. And this is like their weird little outlier. It's the final season.
Yes.
I think it's fun that it's made it that far. We found someone to review it because I'm curious about what even is this show, but it's just too under the radar despite the bigness to stand up. And yeah, I'm cool with that. Dungeons and Dragons, I mean, it doesn't look great, but it looks cute. It looks a little I like that Black Adam looks like it could be just a cringe fest throughout, and Dungeons and Dragons would be like, light comedy, kind of fine. But that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not really thrilled about a lot of these trailers. Like the other one that we did was more exciting, but I mean, it's still fun. It's still fun to talk about it. Do we like any other trailers, by the way? Do we like any other trailers? We seem to be going through a lot that we're like, this wasn't quite as bad as this one. What that one, I guess, it'll be a little worse.
Yeah. I think there were some, I mean, Wakanda Forever obviously is the one that I loved. I think the Sandman trailer, and I like the She-Hulk trailer more than I expected too, because I was a little skeptical on that, but the last trailer was a lot of fun.
It looked cute. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be nice.
Yeah, so I'm digging that. Interview with the Vampire, I'm real nervous about. Okay, so we're at 7 right now.
What about
how are you feeling, Dan?
How about this? Listen, so the Sandman I'm kind of cheating on because I have watched the show. I've watched all 10
so
episodes.
You have biased type.
I definitely have biased type. I think it deserves to be seen. I think it's really, really interesting. I loved parts of it. I'm not really supposed to talk about this, so just don't tell anybody we're saying this. But I thought it was very strong overall. In some parts, I mean, like I cried some parts, and then there were a couple of bits where I didn't think it was. It gets off to a bit of a rocky start, but overall, it really feels like they made a good earnest try to adapt this completely gonzo nutso off the wall graphic novel earnestly and accurately, and that is an accomplishment because that comic is wild, and I really liked it. I thought the cast, the acting's good. Gwendolyn Christie's great, Tom Sturridge is great, Stephen Fry is great, Charles Dance is great, Patton Oswalt as great as the Bird. So just good show, good trailer. Cool. I put it at number 2.
I have no arguments with that. There's nothing else that even comes close for me on the hype front. And yeah, I think Neil Gaiman's works, they're not easy to adapt. I
mean, some are easier than others. Like,
and
Sandman, I think, is the hardest because just every new issue is a wild new adventure with crazy new sets and new everything. Like it's very tricky. It's very high concept. Yeah. It's very weird. Like,
and
he's
this
going
is
to
the
hell.
One that he's kind of. Oh, cool. Yeah,
that's
and
one
he's kept this one back, waiting for the right moment to adapt it. So I think it's a big deal that the
movie wouldn't have done it. There's no way you can compress Sandman into a movie. It's too sprawling. There's too much to it. It had to be TV, and it had to be now because now's when the money is there for it. So yeah, it's really cool. I hope you guys like it when it comes on August 5th, and it deserves its number 2 slot. It's behind Wakanda Forever for me because Wakanda Forever I wasn't expecting to enjoy that one, and I did. The Sandman I knew I would like, but yeah, good number 2 spot.
All right. So I think, and I know you may not have too much of an opinion on this one, but I think that John Wick should go in the 7th slot.
The 7th slot? Oh, wow. I thought you meant like it better.
I'm excited for John Wick, but I'm not more excited for that than like the end of The Walking Dead or The Rings of Power. They're fun movies. The premise of, he's basically a retired assassin who's pulled out of retirement.
Oh, I know.
And they kill his dog. He goes on a rampage. Yes.
He kills Theon Greyjoy.
Yes, he does. And they're great movies. Especially the first one was my favorite, but all of them, they're so bombastic. But yeah, I mean, unless you're more intrigued for John Wick than like Interview with the Vampire or She-Hulk, I think number 7.
Sure. I haven't seen them, so I'm sure with that. By the way, I got some comments on from the YouTube. Fiery Reborn 2001, which is a good name. Top 5 are House of the Dragon, obviously. But again, that's not even a part of this because it would just that's number 0 for us. Yeah.
Totally.
The Walking Dead, The Sandman. Oh hell, what's ROP?
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, of course, and then Dungeons and Dragons, which is a respectable list. What about The Walking Dead? Because The Walking Dead is a show that I respect. It's been on for a long time. I fell kind of on and off it over the years. But I mean, the final episodes are a big deal. They're a big deal. This show's been on for well over a decade now, and it's actually going to end. Well, sort of, kind of.
Sort of, kind of. They do not know how to end. They have no idea how to do endings, that show.
Honestly, the next 4, I can see any of them going kind of, because I have problems with all of them, but I also am intrigued by all of it to some extent. Do you have any leads on what go next? Because like the Rings of Power, I'm excited for it, but every time I see it, there's something that sticks out as like concerning. Like for instance,
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it'll never not crack me up that people are wondering if Eminem is playing Sauron, because that's that picture, like it's totally legit. I feel you. I was not impressed by the Rings of Power trailer, to be honest. I expected it to floor me a lot more. Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty, and it was decent. I think The Walking Dead should probably go in number 3. I'm kind of right there with you. I have gone on and off. It's the final episodes of the Mothership show. Like they're doing spin-offs galore, so I'm really like hesitant on how they're going to stick the landing for this show, just knowing that like the entire main cast are like getting their own spin-offs.
Like half of them, like it's crazy. But yeah,
it's literally half of the OG main cast are getting their own spin-offs. So
they're not going to die.
It does feel like
show. But yes, you know what? Good for you, The Walking Dead, for going all this way and for going out. Not so much on top because your popularity has waned in a serious way, but for, going out before you wore out your welcome with absolutely everyone who watched you. That shows dignity.
And it is still good. Like this season, so I haven't seen much of season 11. I just finished season 10 the other day, trying to get caught up. And like the stories it's telling are a little different than it used to be. But it's still good. Like the writing is still good on that show. All the actors are still doing a great job. The music's still great. So it's gonna at least be decent. Walking Dead.
Number 3, respect.
Rings of Power for 4. What do you think?
Over She-Hulk and Interview with the Vampire. Yes, Rings of Power for 4. I like that. I enjoyed the trailer. I did. I thought it looked great. I mean, it looks opulent.
Yeah.
I like all the different
It does.
moods and places and tones they're going for. That shot of Eminem Sauron, I cannot get over it though. It's just
it's pretty fun.
There's been some great takes online. Okay, so to be fair, we're not sure 100% of that Sauron. That's what they're kind of implying, like a dark power is rising, and then he looks like that. So if you're wondering, Sauron from the Lord of the Rings, big evil guy in armor in the movies and the books. So back during this time, he could assume a pleasing form, a beautiful form that he used to trick the elves into making what? The Rings of Power. We have a title alert.
As it goes.
The deal was he was supposed to be like so beautiful and beguiling and charming that he could convince the elves he wasn't this evil dude that they knew back from the first age. Okay, if that is Sauron, that's a problem because that guy does not look charming, beguiling, particularly beautiful. That guy looks like he's about to rob a convenience store. Like that guy looks like his emo band abandoned him at a gas station. Like that guy looks like he started to frost his tips, like it went too far, and then he hates the way it ended up looking. Like he doesn't look charming. He doesn't look beguiling. He looks like a turd. He looks like an Eminem cosplayer 20 years past the sell-by date. I just don't.
What if he gets a makeover partway through? Sauron gets a makeover, and then
he can do what he wants. He makes it over like that. I'm just saying, if that's what they think, Anatar, the Lord of Gifts, the beautiful Sauron form who bewitched the elves with his charm and guile, is supposed to look like, I question their taste level.
Okay, that's fair. That's
and
definitely,
it makes me concerned.
You can't go knocking on Gil-galad's door looking like that. You're right.
No, he cannot. I mean, he can try, but look, if he tried, like he had like a crack open, be like, no, close it in his face. There's no way he could. So I just think like if that's what they decide for that, then what other dumb decisions have they made? But maybe it's not even Sauron. Maybe it's just like some kind of evil lackey or something. That's possible too. I hope. Yeah, but I hope so too.
Still excited. You know, we will.
I'm still intrigued.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, how can you not be curious? It's like the most expensive show ever made. It's beloved property. Like it gets that high just on premise. I'm real nervous about it. I'm right there with you. And then the latest trailer didn't really belay those nerves at all. Valerie over on YouTube is saying, can this monologue please be a TikTok clip of you talking about Sauron's
deficiencies, shortcomings?
We're on TikTok. Go follow us there.
We are on TikTok. That's true. Yeah.
Ooh,
So that's interesting.
Okay, so we got two left here.
We do.
Let's go through these last two. So we've got She-Hulk and Interview with the Vampire. Are you more excited for one of those than the other?
I'm more interested in Interview with the Vampire, and I think that She-Hulk will be better. Is where I am with that. How do you? That's
pretty much how I feel too.
Because
that's.
I mean, again, She-Hulk looks like a Marvel show, and it
does.
Marvel shows. What do you know about them? They're solid. They're well put together. They have Disney executives kind of hovering over the producers, making sure they don't do anything really embarrassing. It looks cute. Yeah. It looks funny. We got some like comedy going on. I mean, the idea of like a giant green, super strong lawyer in the courtroom going like, I object is just kind of funny. That is kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I don't think it's going to be.
She's going to be breaking the fourth wall.
She is. Good for her, I guess.
Yeah. Apparently that's a thing she did in the comics that they're bringing over for the show. She'll be breaking the fourth wall. I feel this pretty much the same. I think She-Hulk is going to be a better show. I am more like, we haven't had an Anne Rice adaptation in quite a while.
Yeah, so we haven't.
I'm more curious about Interview with the Vampire, but I'm also really nervous like that. there was a quote recently where they said their version's going to be even truer to the book. And that, like, they were saying that comparing it to the Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt one, which Anne Rice wrote the screenplay for. So that and I mean, set warning bells off for me.
And they say that as they admit that they have like 7 episodes and they adapted like a third of the book, and that they want like an Avengers style Anne Rice team up show later. Like, more true to the book doesn't sound like it. I mean, it looks gayer. I guess that's nice.
More blatantly gay.
Jacob Anderson, who plays Grey Worm, is having a Cajun accent, which is, ooh, I can't. That's one of the dangerous ones. A Cajun accent is a hard thing to do if you are not from the area, and he's from England. So I don't know, man, but I am intrigued. I'd put it 5. I can't help it. I don't think it's going to be good, or at least there's a good chance it could be bad, but I'm interested. Give me sexy gay vampires being dysfunctional throughout the centuries. They move the time period. Ooh, it could be. It's
another
really
weird
bad choice.
I mean,
I do get that, because again, like, I think they wanted to avoid the involvement of the main character owning slaves. It's my guess of why they moved the time period up to the early 1900s.
Yeah, I feel like that's the go-to assumption for why else would they have done that? Because, you know, they get to the modern day either way. Like, Louis's interview happens in the modern day, no matter where you start the story, unless you change that, but they didn't. So yeah, it is a question of what are they, you know, what's the reason? And that's the obvious one.
So like that means that they're gonna like travel to Europe in like the 50s or something. And they have to like transplant all the stuff, and perhaps they'll, I don't know, meet Hitler. Like, we'll see what happens. Now the time is being shifted around a bit.
Oh, that's so weird. I didn't even think about that.
I just thought about it.
How they're European time.
Yeah, again,
that'll be
kind of intriguing. It's kind of intriguing. So I put it at 5, even though I honestly think She-Hulk will probably be a better show.
You know what? I'm gonna back that. I think Interview should go 5. I think She-Hulk will be better. I'm personally more excited for She-Hulk, I think, but Interview with the Vampire, for what it is, I think it deserves more notice than just another Marvel show, which we're getting constantly. You know, it's a bigger deal that Anne Rice, one of Anne Rice's things, is being adapted. Interview with the Vampire is kind of the classic Anne Rice.
Yes, it's the Anne Rice story. Absolutely, at 100%.
Yeah, so 5, and then She-Hulk is 6. Because She-Hulk can take it. She's going to be great either way, no matter where we put her on this list.
She's super strong and she knows the law. Like, you can't put one over on her.
That's true.
To be honest, Daniel, looking at this list, I am excited genuinely by 2 of these. Interested in 2 more. And I might watch Black Adam and, you know, get a little something and enjoy it. But
yeah,
about that.
I mean,
or John Wick 4.
Okay,
I'm open to that.
Yeah, I mean, you should at least watch one of the first John Wicks. See if you like it. You probably are going to, because they're outrageous.
How hard could it be? Yeah.
They call him Baba Yaga, so he's an urban legend for being such a badass assassin. You mean
the folkloric lady with the chicken house in the woods?
Yes, cool. That is exactly who I mean, and that gives you an idea of the kind of ridiculous tone of these movies that are still awesome, and the stunts are great.
Sweet. Yeah. We've taken a while talking about that. God, why can't we ever do this in an hour?
This is what we do.
We're really bad at time management.
I mean, we've got 9 minutes. We've got 9 minutes. We can still do it in an hour.
Okay, that's true. I always think we're not gonna take as long as we do. But yeah, good list. The best list, the most accurate, the correct list is here. Hope you enjoy. And then if you have other opinions, please tell us. Let us know.
Yep. Okay, so I guess now we are going to move into the what are we watching section of the show.
Quick,
the most important
quick one.
Yeah, just a quick one. Let us know in the comments what you're watching. Because I don't think there's anything too new this week, right? Like, what have you been watching, Dan?
I mean, again, I watched The Sandman, and I shouldn't tell you about it, but I liked it a lot, and I hope it. I hope it's a hit because I want to see more. I want to see the comic adapted. So when The Sandman comes on August 5th on Netflix, I recommend watching it. I recommend getting past the first 2 episodes because I really liked it, and I hope this gamble pays off because it's as weird as the comic is, and the comic is weird, but it's also pretty good, like sometimes very good. I just hope it. I just hope it's a hit. I really do. And then keep watching Westworld
for that one.
Nicole's watching Blackbird, I hear is pretty cool. I have not watched it, but I hear it's
nice.
I'm also watching Westworld, which is still nice. Before we move on, I want to, about Westworld. I just want to say something about Westworld. We talked last week about how it's recovered. Good for it. I want to make a confession. I have never, until the last episode, understood why Tessa Thompson is popular and cast in things. I saw her in Thor Ragnarok, and I was like,
what a burn.
She was fine. I don't see what she brings someone else couldn't. The first 3 seasons of Westworld, I never really got excited when she came on screen. This season, she is giving me good, evil bitch queen energy, and I really like it. That scene where she just made the humans be her chair, it was so much fun. Like, she's really soaking it up. So it took me a long time. I finally get it. Tessa Thompson's very talented. I assume she's other stuff that she was better in, and now I see it. It took me a while, but I see it. I just wanted to point that out because she's been
nice.
She's been entertaining me this season in a way that she never did before.
Yeah, I think this is her season. Really, like, there are a few people who it's their season, but I think this is the season with the best material for her character. I think she does the Ice Queen villain really well, and like when she's telling William, or the host version of William, why can't you be as good as I made you to be better than the human version, and you're just messing things up. And then she hurts herself and she's like, look what you made me do.
Yeah.
It's like, that whole scene. Yeah, Westworld is great right now. It really has rebounded pretty well. I will say I have seen the next episode and it's got some dark stuff. It's pretty crazy. So I'm excited to see, Julie, what you guys think when you get to watch it. Because I think it keeps going pretty strong, and Tessa Thompson's pretty good in it.
And Nicole's watching What We Do in the Shadows. I'm watching that as well, Nicole. It's pretty good. Nice. I'm always enjoying that one. That one always goes down really, really easy and nice. I'm going to watch that when I get done with this, actually, for dinner. And Christian Hannah's watching The Bear. We're going to watch that one because we hear so many good things about it. I'm going to watch The Bear.
Yeah.
That's going to be an easy one to put on there because people love it. So I'm curious to get into that one as well.
Yeah, Christian said show gave him PTSD from his days in the restaurant business. And I will say I have worked in restaurants, so that makes me a little nervous. And I've heard that from a few people.
I have
very
too.
Accurate to what that industry is like. So I'm curious, definitely. Hulu is making a pretty strong showing for itself right now. The Orville, the latest episode of that was an hour and a half long. It was basically an Orville movie, and it was great. And I've also been watching the Predator movies, prepping for Prey, which comes out next week.
Predator style.
And those are mostly on Hulu. So, yeah.
Good for you, Hulu. They had that controversy about not showing political ads, but we didn't talk about that. Instead, let's do the WiC News Lightning Round, the segment of the show where we go through stories we couldn't get through in the main body of the show and give our 20-second reactions to them. I haven't looked at any of this. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Daniel, why don't you be the ringmaster and decide who goes first?
Okay. I did not order these at all, so I'm just going to...
That's the way I roll.
Pitch it your way. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna read. You read to me first.
Okay. Here we go. Lightning round. Kapow. Daniel, the director
Yes.
of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Daniel Cretton, has been chosen to helm the next Avengers movie, Avengers, the Kang Dynasty. The Russos could not be bothered.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. He did a great job with Shang-Chi. And I'm glad that they announced new Avengers movies.
Yeah,
so I think, yeah, it kind of makes sense that he was chosen to do more movies in the MCU. Obviously, some huge shoes to fill. So it'll kind of be a big proving ground for him. It could really elevate him as a director. I hope it goes well.
Good for him. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Dan. Stranger Things star Joseph Quinn was detained at a U.S. airport while on his way to Jimmy Fallon until security recognized him as Eddie Munson and let him go.
Yeah, so this story is like, speaking of just like cute, like, oh, remember Eddie from Stranger Things 4, the breakup character? He was detained at an airport for his immigration, and then someone's like, that's Eddie. I love Stranger Things. Let him out, and he did, and he was fine. But I read that, and I was more like, what about folk who like aren't on beloved TV shows? I guess they just get detained and they don't really get let go, even though they're have something to get to. I think I was kind of creeped out by that, honestly. But good for Eddie Munson, I guess. Okay.
Regular people miss their appointment with Jimmy Fallon.
Yes, they're they want to go to his house and snap pictures as he walks out. Like people got to be able to do that. Okay. Here we go, Daniel. Okay, this is something that you know. Disney Plus is developing a television show based on the Aragon fantasy book series by Christopher Paolini. What do you think of that?
I think that's pretty cool. You know, they're decent books. They're YA fantasy books. They're really popular in the early 2000s. A movie was made of the first one, and it was pretty awful. So Aragon, it's kind of like a kid's classic fantasy book. It makes a lot of sense, and Disney Plus is trying to move into that market with stuff like that and Percy Jackson. So I wish them well. Paolini deserves a good adaptation.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, hit me.
All right. Speaking of, I don't know where I was going with that. Speaking of cool things, the first new Avatar: The Last Airbender movie was announced. It's going to be about a young adult version of Aang and his friends. You psyched for that?
No. I mean, they're making a few new animated movies of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't think it actually said it's going to be like young adult, like they're grown up. I think it might just be them. I'm kind of interested by the giant Last Airbender war we got going, like with anime movies and the Netflix making their own live action show. So I like they're going to try and blast each other and win. The movies, technically we'll see if they're any good or not. Okay. Daniel, all 3 seasons of the Orville, Seth MacFarlane's homage to Star Trek that you are currently head over heels in love with, are heading to Disney Plus on August the 10th.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. It's nice. You know, I hope the Orville gets a broader audience. That's kind of the reason to do something like this. It's going to be one of the few shows that is on both Disney Plus and Hulu. So 2 different streaming platforms owned by Disney. It's already on Disney Plus internationally. So if you haven't seen the Orville and you have Disney Plus, it'll all be on there on August 10th.
And I apologize for my loud ice chewing. Okay, hit me.
All right. A Rick Grimes and Michonne Walking Dead limited series spinoff is coming. Will you be watching it?
I mean, maybe. The big news here is that for years, they told us that Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln, was going to get his own series of Walking Dead movies after he left the show back in season 9. Nope. They're pivoting to make it a whole TV show. Just that series is so interesting, the way it's determined to keep going no matter what. I'm glad the fans are going to get something. That's what I'm glad about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good way to end that for sure.
Very cool. Howard Shore, the guy who made the iconic music for the Lord of the Rings movies, is going to make the theme for the Rings of Power. And your favorite, Bear McCreary, is going to score the rest of the show. Was that accurate?
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, that got me more excited than any other Rings of Power news. So Bear McCreary being involved automatically means the storytelling is going to be a level higher than it would be without Bear McCreary. Yeah, so I think that's really exciting. Howard Shore's doing the theme, and then Bear McCreary, I got chills. We heard a little bit of it from Ariba, who was there, sent videos, and the music's pretty beautiful.
Nice.
All right. The final lightning round story. The Wheel of Time was renewed. Oh, kitty. I froze. The cat's too cute. The Wheel of Time was renewed for season 3 at Amazon. Will you and your cat be watching?
Yeah, kicking. I'm glad about that. Wheel of Time was, I liked the first season. It's a big fantasy series. I like it's going to be adapted. They're going to have season 2, and I like that Amazon's putting all their sources behind it to give it the treatment it deserves. Yeah, good for it. Rock on. Go Kitty and Wheel of Time stuff. Beep. And that is, she's rubbing the back of my camera, so we're moving forward. That is, nice. Let it around. That is, she's chewing the, stop, don't chew the mouse. That is the Lightning Round. That is the show. We do this every Wednesday. Stream it live on the Take the Black YouTube page, Take the Black Facebook page. We're also on TikTok. And remember, we're going to be doing live shows every Wednesday and Sunday night once House of the Dragon begins. We're going to be doing recaps of that. You also download us wherever podcasts are available in podcast forms, like Google Play, iTunes, that kind of place. We're just two correct guys living in a correct world, giving the correct takes on every issue under the sun. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Take care, y'all.